Hello and welcome everyone to Gold Asset of the Day for the 3rd of November 2020, presented by myself, Phil Carr, at the Gold and Silver Club. And of course, today is election day in the USA. We have a massive week ahead of us. Not only, of course, do we have the US election, we also have the FOMC statement on Wednesday as well. In fact, this is the first time since 1984 that we've had an FOMC statement the day after a US election. So this is setting up to be an explosive week. We also have non-farm payroll data on Friday. So in the latest week, we have seen an interesting development in terms of hedge funds, money manager positions. They increased their overall net long positions in gold and silver in the latest week. And we saw this at the end of last week, both gold and silver catching a bid. In fact, we managed to capitalize on some very fast moves on gold there. And we also built into 3 positions on the dollar index, which we've subsequently protected those trades. In fact, yesterday banked 210 points on the US dollar index over 3 positions. And we still have some exposure now, completely protected going into the US election result. But what's interesting at the moment is that the US dollar index has broken down today. So with that, it is providing support to gold price in US dollars. So we've got the US dollar index right now trading back at 93.40. However, gold priced in euros, gold priced in Australian dollars, and gold priced in the British pound is selling off at the moment. And often this can lead the move with gold priced in US dollars. So it's the fact that the US dollar is down a lot on the day, which has provided this additional support to gold and silver price in dollars, which means then if the dollar does catch a bid off the back of uncertainty from the US election results, if we are going to see a contested result, which Donald Trump has promised he would take to the Supreme Court, in that scenario, this is where you could see strength on the dollar, and that's where you need to watch out with potential for pressure on the metals here, particularly, of course, gold in that scenario, which many traders have braced themselves for in the latest week. They moved out of equities, they've moved into cash. That propelled the dollar to 1-month highs. On the flip side, of course, we have had Donald Trump stating on Friday that if he does get re-elected, he would push through a new stimulus bill fast. So with that, the anticipation would be if Donald Trump was to get a majority, then you could actually see the dollar be under pressure and metals be reasonably well supported off the back of that. And of course, the other scenario is if Joe Biden was to win the US election. We are expecting that to have a negative impact on oil prices due to his policies. And also the stimulus bill would likely not go through until he starts his term in January. So there is that to bear in mind as well. So what is very likely is that we're going to see some big volatility that sets up for some massive trades. And then once the dust has settled, you've got the opportunity to trade the FOMC statement on Wednesday, non-farm payroll on Friday. And then we move into these very strong seasonal cycles between now and the end of November and then into December and Q1. Now, alongside that, of course, we've had an announcement this week that England is moving into full lockdown. Not only England, but a number of countries in Europe as well, which includes, of course, France, Italy, Germany, Spain. We're continuing to see an increase in restrictions, and we've also seen further restrictions getting implemented in US states now as well, as we're seeing the number of COVID cases worldwide accelerate. You've also got another factor here to consider too, is that many cities in the USA have started to protect their shop fronts and also homes by boarding them up in the anticipation that we could get riots off the back of the result from the US election, which again, often the safe haven bid would be gold and the US dollar in that scenario. Also later in the week on Thursday, we have the Bank of England speaking as well. And we saw previously over October, the Bank of England preparing banks to go to potentially negative interest rate. If we were to see additional stimulus provided by the Bank of England, often this can also have an impact again on safe havens such as the precious metals. So this will be another key news item to look out for later on this week. And then, of course, on Friday, we have the non-farm payroll data, which is a completely separate trade in itself, which often also causes dynamic moves in the markets that you can capitalize on. But just be mindful at the moment that it's often the case that the moves that you can get into the lead up of a US election result can completely flip and be the opposite after the result of the election come through. So many retail traders are trying to get ahead of the moves here by positioning themselves before the results come out, which can really get you into trouble if you've got this incorrect. It's very important that you're trading the same way the hedge funds, the money managers, the institutions are, that you're aware of the key zones of liquidity, where they're buying, where they're selling, where they're booking their profits in real time, so that you can observe this price action and capitalize on it, being very nimble to bank profits. Make sure you're regularly protecting trades into the US election All of our trades are fully protected. We've been talking you through our positioning over the latest weeks here, where we've built into a number of positions on, for example, the dollar, which are protected. We have exposure on the metals, which are protected, and also the energies, which are protected as well. So with that, if you would like to learn a research-driven approach to the market, where you're going to be utilizing market intelligence, data, you're going to be looking at the same information that the hedge funds, the money managers, they have access to. You're aware of the cycles, seasonality, what we're looking at in terms of intermarket correlations, the macroeconomics, the capital flows. This is what will give you an edge in the market. So if you would like to join a community of successful traders and join the live trading room mentorship program, there is an opportunity for you to do so. Just make sure you click in the link below today's report in order to make an application to become a member of the Gold and Silver Club.